Hi there, and welcome to Honeybee Tarot and Cards and Coffee. Today we are going to be dialoguing with the Emperor from the Major Arcana, and I am using the Waite deck. So welcome back to all of you who've been with me before, and to those of you who haven't. If I haven't said it already, my name is Melissa. I did take a little, I guess, a 4-day break or so. I know, just needed to regroup. I was feeling a lot of, I just keep telling y'all that I in the spring, particularly in March, I get this kind of like, I have to get it all done, anxiety energy around me, and it's like that emoji where the little face is like, and everything's exploding. Yeah. So I just decided to just take a pill, calm down, chill pill, and just focus on some other things. And I'm still working on that, including getting that quarantine 15 off. Okay. All right. So let's look at what is going on. What would the Emperor like to say to us? So the first questions that I'm going to ask are for the collective. We're looking at what is the highest manifestation and use of the Emperor energy, and then collectively, what is the shadow manifestation of the Emperor's energy. Okay, and then I will be asking specific questions. What did I do with that book? No, out of Journaling the Tarot, a little big book of big questions from Andy Matzner. Okay, Matzner. Sorry. And I'm going to choose the questions based on what comes out of the first two. Okay, so gotta get the cobwebs out of my head. Okay, let's look here. So, what is the highest manifestation of the Emperor's energy? Who wants to know? Okay. Highest manifestation. 4 matches again. Interesting. We got 2 4s here. We got the 4 of Cups with the 4 of Matches. So 4 of Cups here is the image, and 4 of Matches. Okay, 4 of Matches would be your Wands energy, right? Contemplate, the words on this card: contemplation, spark, re-energized. Some of the more negative, or if we were in reverse, we'd look at apathy, disillusion, and motivation. Interesting. So it's funny because they're all 4s, right? So we've got 4 emotionally and 4 of fire. 4 of water, 4 of fire. So the Emperor is the father, like with the capital F, father, right? The one who is about creating structure, rules, enforces the rules in the structure, it is the one that creates the structure around society, right? Whereas the Empress is more the mother, and she is, one with nature, but also the underlying forces of life, which can be, you're just moving through life, connecting with your senses and with sensuality, and creating from that place. The Emperor is going to be more like the father who says, well, in order for us to do certain things, we have to create stability in our lives. In order to be free, we need a set of laws and rules in order to, live by. And if we don't follow those laws, then there is repercussions, punishment to that. The Emperor also had his wand here is the ink, which is about life. And so like the Emperor, if the Empress is the mother and the goddess, maybe, right? Then, and I also see, this to me is like a little ball of sun, and all of this yellow and orange is around him, right? And this is Aries energy. He does, in some ways, right, represent, the Father, God, who is the ruler, and doesn't really, it's important for everyone to like figure out what that means. I'm not trying to say it in a spiritual or religious context, but what's the power over? What are the laws? And there's many different ways that we can go down, discuss this, but not for cards and coffee. And so it's kind of like the highest possible use of this structure and stability and rules and governance seems to be a balance of even though he's not uber emotional, I mean, it's pretty stern, and he can be pretty rigid. I mean, he's wearing his suit of armor. I mean, how comfortable could that be on his little stone throne there? I think for me, what this looks like is it's about not being so rigid, to consider rules and governing in terms of what does seem to work, right? What does seem to create that type of structure, safety, security, stability within a community, let's say, or civilization, or your home, or yourself, along with the ability to be contemplative and flexible and use your senses. Allow that feminine, this isn't the Emperor, I'm saying the highest manifestation is to not be so rigid, to not rule with an iron fist, to allow thoughtful recognition of the culture, the people, the family, the reality, the world that we live in, right? And for Aries, I mean, if this is Aries, right, this is also the ability to move into action when needed, when particularly internally, when the spark of whatever it is, your intuition, your spark of opportunity presents itself. It's spring, right? So there's different, like I said, there's a whole bunch of different things. So it's just interesting to get these cards, but they're both fours, and I feel like, you know, I'm leaving this open not to educate on the particular cards particularly, but to dialogue with them. You know, to be considerate and not just enforce a rule because it's there, but to make sure that it's there and it's suiting the purpose intended, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay. And what is the more shadow manifestation of the Hierophant? Shadow manifestation. I'm sorry, not the Hierophant. I said the Hierophant and I meant the Emperor. And we got the Ace of Buttons. I don't know. Maybe I'll get one more. And let's see what I don't know if I should put it back. Okay. The Shadow of the Emperor, please. Eight of Needles with the Queen of Cups. And Ace of Buttons. Interesting. So Ace of Buttons would be the Ace of Pentacles, right? Okay. So a brand new opportunity to create or build something around money, manifestation, money, power, to build something that is tangible, right? Okay, so let's stick that over here because I wasn't. Okay. And we have Three of Needles or Three of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Interesting. Okay. Now, the other cards that came up were Eight of Needles, which would be Eight of Swords. So we know that's all about, you know, believing that we're stuck, believing that we're trapped, limiting beliefs, as well as the Queen of Cups. Okay, so the words on the 8 of Needles or the 8 of Swords are on this deck are imprisonment, self-victim, entrapment. In reverse, we would have self-acceptance, release, reevaluation. And then for the Queen of Cups, we have upright empathy, calm, comfort. And in reverse, we have moodiness, insecurity, and martyrdom. Okay. So it seems that, you know, the lower vibration, the shadow aspect of the Emperor is to believe that we have to stay imprisoned, trapped, stuck in a rigid code or a rigid set of rules, because that is what we were maybe told. Maybe that's how it's always been. Maybe that's based on, you know, the shoulds of any influencer, particularly the father, the patriarchy. You know, it's just, you know, it's just how it is. And so I follow these rules, or I live my life in a way that continues to maybe even be like a rule follower. I just want to say, like, it's kind of like a rule follower with no real backbone. That's what I'm getting. It's like, well, okay, it's fine if you're following rules, but what's the why behind that rule? Does it really fit for you? Is it based in your own personal truth? Are you marrying that with your true authentic self, your nature, your self? Or is this coming from, you know, generations, legacies, your parents, you know, norms that just that no longer fit? And, you know, when we're doing that, we're moving through life, to be honest, inauthentically, and at some level with a sense of disempowerment, right? And that can just look and feel really ugly, because sometimes there's like anger and resentment from people who believe that certain things should be a certain way and there are rules, and they've chosen to follow those rules and not live authentically, and then they begrudge other people that are, and there's just a lot of, you know, kind of like hatefulness being spewed out there. Jealousy, and that would certainly be shadow, right? Okay, so let's look at the Cosmic Tarot, Oh, let's look at these. So I was going to ask questions out of here for the emperor. Let's see. Well, I think the first question is perfect for this. Who is calling the shots in your life? How do you feel about that? And is there something that needs to change? So let's look at that. Who is calling the shots in your life? So, anyone watching for a reading? Great. If not, I'm just kind of seeing how the tarot can be used for personal growth, self-reflection. Okay. Who is calling the shots in your life? I need to know who's calling the shots. Eesh. Okay. Okay, we got the Four of Wands again. Wow. With the Justice card at the bottom of the deck. For me, that's, well, in the Cosmic Tarot, this is a number 8. The bottom of the deck is Justice, where we have yin yang, right? A balancing out of fire and water, almost like we had with the cups. Queen of Cups showed up again here. We had the cups here with the wands also. So we've got the sun and the moon. Oh my God. The sun and the moon. Masculine, feminine. Four of Wands. Joy and stability. For me, this card is, she is in balance with her life purpose, even her life passion, the reason why she's here, that she has a sense of self-created joy and the freedom to live her own life based on her. I'm saying her because there's a female on here. It's not about her, okay? Ownership of her living in authenticity, understanding life and what she chooses and how she chooses to live in communion with her community. Like, she's not living to avoid punishment. She's living from a space of understanding truly her place in this world and doing the things necessary to coexist with others and within, like, her life path. Very karmically, like, I don't know, I just feel like she gets it. But then we also got death here. Okay, so what do I see there? It's, for me, it's an ego death. It's an understanding that, you know, need to live our lives for in its fullest expression and its most authentic expression, because our time is limited. And we're also not immune from that which we all are going to meet, death, and we're no better, no worse, no less than, no more than anyone else. And it's like I said, that ink, right? It's like life, for me, she looks like she's just fully in life. And in her what do we call it? It's like self-actualization. Like she's just owning herself and her place in the river of life, right? Life over death. So she's choosing to give her life the importance and the meaning and the structure, because she knows, you know, death is part of life. Not going to avoid it. Okay, what was the next part of that? How do you feel about that? Okay. Who is calling the shots in your life? How do you feel about that? Ooh. Okay. Three of Pentacles with the Ace of Cups. Three of Pentacles with the Ace of Cups. I think I'm feeling pretty damn good. 10 of Pentacles here at the bottom of the deck, right? I am a part of a system. I play a part, and I feel good about that role. I feel that I'm contributing, that I'm able to also create a legacy, that I'm capable of filling my cup so that my cup floweth over. I know that I can work within my community and be a integral, important part in the working structure. Like, I have purpose and meaning in my life, right? I feel empowered. I feel that I am an important, I can't say this enough, I'm an important part of the structure, okay? And is there something that needs to change? Interesting. Is there something that needs to change? Well, okay, Princess of Swords, the bottom of the deck. Okay, that would be like the Page of Swords. Okay, and Eight of Wands. I think if there's anything that needs to change, this would be to communicate, potentially to communicate more, or to put yourself out there more, to become more active, maybe even in continuing to learn, maybe even in continuing to, or maybe even speaking your own truth, doing your own teaching, writing, whatever it is that you have learned, being able potentially as an emperor, being able to take that out. You've done the work on yourself. You've, kind of challenged all the old rules and anyone having power over you, and being able to take the lessons that you've learned and, I would say reach back and help another, but put it out there, right? Okay, so that is that. And let's see. Let's get one more message from the Spirit Animal Oracle. Did say it right this time. I've already extensively shuffled all of these decks, but I just do it for y'all. That was a dead of a shuffle. Okay, let's see. And one more message from the Emperor. I kind of just want to say be loud and proud about who you are and what your path and purpose is, and I don't think we ever want to be judgmental or domineering towards others, that they have to follow our path. No, but it's important to speak our truth. Lots of issues, physical and mental, can show up when we are not doing that. Okay, so we got Eagle Spirit in reverse, or in protection position. Eagle Spirit. Okay, and Spirit has your back. Look at him with the crown on his head. And Fox Spirit, think on your feet. Also in the protection position. Fox Spirit. I love the images. So a 5 and a 9. Okay. Eagle Spirit. 23. If you are walking awkwardly and feeling embarrassed, Eagle Spirit is here to tell you that is only because right now you are meant to fly. To me, he looks like he's flying, right? Soar over the troubles that have you feeling scared and alone. See the big picture, yet retain your eagle eye for the details that help you claim your wisdom and courage. Or perhaps you're making yourself small for the sake of getting others to accept you. Now is not the time to be vulnerable and dependent, for you have the wings to fly on your own, and you need to do that at this time. There is no need to huddle in a shelter or even to seek out a flock to support you. For Eagle Spirit says you have tremendous wisdom and courage within. Let it arise so that you might soar proudly, with the angels serving as the wind beneath your wings. From these heights, you can make the best and most powerful choices for the highest good of all. Right? For the highest good of all. Okay. And Fox Spirit. Are you camouflaging yourself to avoid intimacy? Perhaps you're being too clever for your own good and playing games to protect yourself. Being dishonest with yourself or others can become isolating and create obstacles to true connection. Fox Spirit calls you to be attuned to what is happening within you and around you so that your quick thinking and creativity can lead you to better relationships and situations. You are called to use your Fox Spirit beneficially rather than in ways that keep you from experiencing what you want. Or perhaps right now you are realizing that a situation is trickier than it appears on the surface, and you are afraid to make a move in case it turns out to be a mistake. Fox Spirit is here, right? Like when we're afraid to make a move because we fear of making a mistake, a lot of times that comes from messaging, programming, old belief systems, the fear of being punished, right, or doing something wrong. Is the Emperor. Not in its highest manifestation. Fox Spirit is here to remind you that when you are in alignment with the Great Spirit, the answers and solutions can come quickly, and you can trust them. Don't overthink a situation in order to avoid the challenge of facing a difficult truth. Where did we get that? Right? 8 moves into 9, the anxiety, the being up all night. The limiting beliefs moves into the anxiety. Fox Spirit's creative nature will always be there to guide you and help you move quickly into better circumstances. Okay, so I hope that was enlightening, helpful if you watch this to get a message from your own guides. And thank you. And tomorrow we will be having a dialogue with the Hierophant. Okay, bye-bye. Be well.